Let's unpack this. Welcome, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're zeroing in on just one source.
That's right.
A really interesting one. It's a review of the film Coup by Mary Munoz, written for Moviescramble. And our mission today is pretty specific. Just dig into this review and pull out the key bits of info. What does it tell us?
Exactly. We're not offering our own opinions on the film itself.
Yeah.
Nope. We're basically using this Moviescramble review as our guide.
Right.
To understand, well, what did the reviewer highlight? The premise, the tone, which sounds pretty satirical about the themes, performances, and, the overall vibe, according to this writer.
Just sticking to what Mary Munoz wrote. Got it.
Strictly.
Okay, so according to this review, then, what's the basic setup for Coup? What's it all about?
Well, the review kicks things off by placing it during the Spanish flu back in 1918.
Okay, historical setting.
Yeah, but right away, the reviewer suggests the directors Joseph Schumann and Austin Stark aren't just doing a period piece. They're using that history to talk about something. Well, something more current, it seems. The review specifically mentions class, truth, and, interestingly, charm.
Charm, okay. And this satirical tone you mentioned, the review, suggests it's pretty front and center from the get-go. Not exactly subtle.
Oh, definitely not subtle, according to this. The review points straight to the opening voiceover.
What does it say?
It apparently has these sardonic comments about lockdowns and errant president sound familiar, and the stark divide. The poor dying while the wealthy flee to their country houses.
Wow. Okay, so laying it on thick early.
Seems like it. The review even mentions an old photo shown, a sign saying, "Wear a mask or face jail." That's part of the early tone setting, as the reviewer sees it.
So the film, based on this description, really comes out swinging with its perspective.
Yeah.
The reviewer has some good lines for it, didn't they? Something about...
Yeah, treacle thick with sarcasm.
That was it.
And full of knowing winks to the audience.
Right. Sounds quite pointed.
It does. And, while the reviewer seems to find that initial approach kind of fun...
There's a but coming.
There's a but. They also make it clear the film is aiming for something deeper than just jerks.
Okay.
And this is key, I think, to the review's insight. It finds the commentary on social divides genuinely poignant.
Poignant, even with the sarcasm.
Yeah, especially because, the reviewer notes, it feels so recent, so relevant, even when wrapped in humor.
Did the review give an example of that? Like how that poignancy lands?
It did, yeah. A really good one. There's a line from the housekeeper character, spoken completely straight, apparently, about how the rich guy, the protagonist, has dedicated his life to fighting for us.
Oh, wow.
While she's basically stuck shivering in these tiny staff quarters miles from the main house.
Yikes. Yeah, that one line, as the review puts it, seems to capture that social gap pretty brutally.
Absolutely. It crystallizes it. And the review gives a lot of credit for the film's impact to the two main actors.
The performances. Who are they?
Billy Magnussen playing Jay Horton and Peter Sarsgaard as a character named Billy Monk.
And the review liked them.
Like them is an understatement, calls them brilliant.
Yeah.
It frames the whole film really as this thrilling battle of wits between these two.
A battle of wits. Interesting. How does the review describe them? Are they similar? Different?
Oh, very different. The reviewer describes them as almost intentionally designed as obvious binary.
Binaries, like opposites.
Yeah, even visually. Magnussen's character, Horton, is all starched collars and Brill-creamed hair, very buttoned up.
Right.
Then you've got Sarsgaard's monk, described with flowing shirts, long locks, and dangly earrings. Totally different look.
Okay, I can picture that contrast.
And Monk apparently has this shoulder-rolling swagger that Horton just doesn't possess.
So visually striking opposites, but how do they interact? Does the review say?
It says their chemistry is flawless.
Wow.
Like, despite being polar opposites, neither actor wants to, quote, blink first in their scenes together. It's an intense dynamic, apparently.
That sounds compelling. Does the review go deeper into the individual performances at all?
It does. It makes a point about Magnussen's Horton not just being a caricature, not just a poor little rich kid.
Okay, so there's some nuance there.
Yeah, the reviewer mentions we get glimpses of the person Horton maybe wishes he could be, like aspiring to be a forward-thinking, charming rebel. But the reality is he's basically a sheltered heir. The review notes his attempts to signal he's progressive, treating staff okay, being vegetarian, pacifist. Those details are mentioned.
Interesting. And Sarsgaard as monk. What's the vibe there, according to the review?
Oh, Sarsgaard is apparently having a blast. The review says he delivers his lines with sparkling glee.
Sounds fun to watch.
and uses a very specific accent, a thick, bless-your-heart Southern accent.
Okay, definitely painting a picture there.
Yeah.
So Monk arrives and starts shaking things up in this isolated house. Wow.
Exactly. And this is where the review draws another really interesting parallel.
What's that?
It mentions that as Monk disrupts the status quo, you start to feel echoes of our own pandemic experience.
There's that connection again.
Yeah.
Linking 1918 to, well, the last few years.
Precisely.
Yeah.
The review highlights how the film uses that 1918 setting but makes it feel familiar. It lists things like old formalities dropping away, everyone just stuck in loungewear all the time, shops running out of food or closing down entirely.
Yeah, that definitely resonates.
School's closed. So Monk ends up teaching the kids, get this, card tricks and hustler talk. And just that general feeling, which the reviewer also points out, of everyone being mercilessly bored.
Oh, tell me about it. Yeah, that feeling is definitely something many of us can relate to.
For sure.
But even if the characters are bored, the review seems to suggest the film itself isn't boring.
No, not at all. It actually praises the film for being extremely compact.
Compact,
yeah. Meaning it jumps right into the main conflict, the Horton versus Monk dynamic, without getting lost in lots of side stories or unnecessary subplots. The reviewer definitely appreciated that focused approach.
Good pacing, then.
Seems so. And it also mentions that even the supporting characters feel well-drawn, like they each get enough screen time to make an impression. They're neatly defined, is the phrase used.
Nice. Anything else the review liked? Sound? Look.
It gave a nod to the period score, finding it effective, and mentioned an interesting contrast between that and some of the dialogue, which apparently could sometimes sound very contemporary, like it was written just recently.
Okay, interesting mix. Now,
yeah.
You mentioned earlier the film aims for more than just sarcasm. The review talks about a shift, right? Something about a sucker punch.
Yes, this is a really crucial point in the review. It describes how, amidst all the witty banter and the clever references, both Monk and Horton start to kind of come apart, unravel, but in different ways. Awesome. Horton's breakdown is described as loud, more public, but Monk's is apparently quieter, more internal, and ultimately, the review suggests, more impactful.
Ah, okay. And this affects the tone.
Massively, according to the reviewer. They state very clearly that the film's initial teasing tone quickly disappears once Monk's backstory comes out.
So the sarcasm fades.
It seems so. The review says it stops being a haha, let's eat the rich kind of film.
Right. So what does it become then?
This is where the review finds a deeper layer. It argues the film shifts to become about the real and devastating impact of men making decisions in rooms far away from the people they affect.
Wow, okay. That's quite a shift from witty satire.
It is. And the review notes this gives the film a couple of really strong changes in tone. Like the fun and the lightness are deliberately stopped cold at certain points. It's meant to hit hard.
So based on this review, the film manages to walk that tightrope between sharp comedy and quite serious dramatic moments.
That really seems to be the central argument the reviewer is making, yes, that it navigates that shift successfully.
And what's the final verdict from this reviewer? Overall impression?
Overall, pretty positive. They call Coup an interesting, fun watch.
Well, okay.
But also one with generous helpings of humor and moments of poignant shock that hit home exactly as they are supposed to.
So it delivers on both fronts, the humor and the shock.
That's the impression. And the review circles back again to those lead performances.
Magnussen and Sarsgaard.
Right. Their sparkling performances and undeniable chemistry are highlighted as key reasons why it works as an enjoyable satire that knows exactly which emotional notes to hit.
So, based purely on what Mary Munoz wrote here, it sounds like a film using satire as a vehicle to land some surprisingly heavy points about society, power, class.
Truth, yeah. And how history can feel very, very close sometimes. One last detail the review mentions is context the film was screening at the Glasgow Film Festival.
Oh, okay.
And it just reiterates that point about the clever use of the past to mirror the present, shifting effectively from comedy to something much more serious.
Okay, so let's try and sum up what we've pulled just from this one review. Coup is presented here as this sharp satire 1918 Spanish flu setting.
Sure.
But the review argues it's really commenting on our time class divides. What's true, what isn't.
Right. And the core engine is this clash, this battle of wits between two very different characters, played brilliantly according to the reviewer.
Driven by those lead performances, Magnussen and Sarsgaard. But crucially, it's not just satire.
No, that's the key takeaway from the review. It highlights that deliberate shift in tone. It uses the parallels between 1918 and recent times to deliver moments the reviewer calls poignant shock. It gets serious.
So we've dug into what this one source, this Moviescramble review, had to say. Thinking about that description, what really stands out to you, the listener, about how this film apparently mixes that sharp satire with heavier themes?
Yeah, that blend seems quite specific.
And maybe chew on this final thought, again, based purely on the review. How does a film that kicks off with what's called treacle-thick sarcasm manage to land punches that feel genuinely shocking and poignant? What is that kind of tonal whiplash maybe tell us about the story itself? Something to ponder.